Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So with all this McCartney III talk and Paul McCartney talk, I figured what better time than to do a ranking of Paul's albums. Now, I decided to actually leave out the Wings stuff. I'm one of those few people that actually kind of see Wings as a different thing than just Paul. I believe that the members of the band and different members actually brought kind of something special to that. So there's no Wings here. I know I might get a little bit of criticism for that, but I just wanted to focus on the main albums here. You know, Paul's main studio albums. You know, with Wings, he wasn't really being super serious with studio albums. You know, it was more just a fun thing most of the time. So I'm not including that. If you'd like to see the Wings albums ranked, comment down below and let me know. So let's get into it. So first up of his studio albums, I did decide to include this. Kiss is on the bottom, and unfortunately it ends up on the bottom. This is a good, decent cover album. A lot of people say its biggest criticism is it came too late. It should have probably been, you know, a little bit sooner. However, his voice is raspy. I think this came out in 2011, something like that. His voice is raspy enough where it does kind of flow. I do enjoy this album, and I play it surprisingly a lot around wintertime, Christmas time. I don't know what it is about it, but I do like it around that time. Unfortunately, it's just, you know, with Paul's albums, it ends up at the bottom. Okay, next up is, and this is probably no surprise to fans, Press to Play. And I'm going to try to keep this video pretty short. This album could have been a lot better, I think, if he would have included, first off, if he should have not included, in my opinion, Talk More Talk, Pretty Little Head, and Angry. If he would have replaced Talk More Talk, Pretty Little Head, and Angry with the bonus tracks that were B-sides at the time, Right Away, It's Not True, and Tough on a Tightrope, this would be a much better album, much better. But it's, you know, it's very 80s, so that personally isn't really my bag. It's not really my thing. But yeah, Press to Play. All right, next up is an album I'm not too crazy about, and I know a lot of fans out there aren't also. So without further ado, it's Driving Rain, which I don't actually have a physical copy of because I never went out of my way to purchase one. I'm not going to purchase the CD, and the vinyl is way too expensive. So yeah, Driving Rain. I do enjoy songs like I Do. I think I Do is a great song. From a Lover to a Friend is okay, but it gets kind of, it sounds like he's making up the lyrics as he goes. He may be, I have no idea. But he should have done another version, I think, of songs. Magic is a good song. Besides that, I'm just not too crazy about the album. Not too crazy about the references of the album to Heather. And yeah, so there's Driving Rain. Okay, and next, this is also might be a little bit surprising to most McCartney fans who really enjoy this album. New. 2013's New. To me, I'm just not a big fan of the production on this. Paul worked with 5 producers on this album, and personally, whenever he works with multiple producers, I just don't like what happens and what comes out of that, as you'll see going forward. I enjoy the song Save Us and Alligator. I think the album starts really strong. Save Us and Alligator are really enjoyable. On My Way to Work, it kind of gets a little repetitive, but still enjoyable. Queenie Eye, you know, it's just that whole Queenie Eye who's got the ball thing. I think it starts off great and then it kind of just gets weaker, honestly. You know. But anyways, that's New. So moving right along. Next is McCartney II. It might also be surprising to some. I just am not a big fan of the absurdity of McCartney II. I think it's really experimental and really cool, really interesting. But coming up, I prefer the live version because the weird little wacky version with his voice is it's not really too enjoyable for me. But I do appreciate it. It's kind of neat, you know. It's cool. Temporary Secretary, again, it's cool and wacky and different, but I just don't find myself wanting to listen to Temporary Secretary. On the Way is super cool. Really cool little bluesy number that Paul gets into some swamp slow blues for a minute. Plays all the electric guitar, you know, he plays everything himself. Waterfalls, good song. Could have been more with a big orchestra, but it's okay for what it is. And then you get into all the really, really out there funny songs. Nobody Knows, Frozen Jap, Bogey Music, Dark Room, you know. So yeah, it's okay for what it is. But again, I just don't find myself listening to it very often. Okay, so up next, Flowers in the Dirt. Again, a lot of people really love this album. This is #1 in a lot of people's lists. Not really for me, and the reason why is kind of for the same reason as New. Paul worked with multiple producers for this album, and to me that just doesn't really work. I think one producer with one perspective of where that album is heading is good. When you have multiple people trying to take the album in different directions, it doesn't really work, I don't think. That's my opinion. The album starts strong. I'm not a big fan of the stuff that he wrote with Elvis Costello. I do love songs Distractions. Put It There is great. This one is really good. Yeah, but I'm not a too big fan of the stuff he wrote with Costello. Oh well, but that's Flowers in the Dirt. Moving on. Up next we get Pipes of Peace, which is it really is a good album. I might have to take this up just to look at the track listing and know it off the top of my head. Wow. And this is one of the colored ones I decided to keep sealed. There's actually no track. I never really realized that. There's no track listing. But let's see. So Pipes of Peace, I love the song Pipes of Peace. I think it's extremely emotionally moving, especially in this day and age. It talks about help the children to learn songs of joy instead of Burn Baby Burn. And now on the mainstream radio with artists like Machine Gun Kelly, all that their big thing is Burn Baby Burn, just total anarchy, destruction, hate, violence. Yeah. So let's teach the children love songs and to be nice to one another and songs of joy instead of Burn Baby Burn. Love it. You know, the Jackson stuff is cool. The Other Me, I enjoy. I like the little drum beat thing going on. His little, but then it Keep Undercover is so. Yeah, I feel like the album starts strong. Like New, this album starts strong, and then it just kind of there's a lot of filler. I feel like you know, Tug of Peace, Hey Hey is not needed. Yeah, you know. In a lot of ways, it's kind of a Wings album, to be honest. In a lot of it, doesn't look like he took this extremely seriously. Just put some fun songs on here. Does have the ballad Through Our Love on though, but that is probably one of the best ballads he ever wrote. So that is pretty neat. Moving on though, up next we get Paul McCartney, the self-titled album that started it all. I decided to include this because up so far on the list because I really do play this pretty often, surprisingly. I really enjoy the songs Every Night, That Would Be Something, Junk, Man We Was Lonely, Ooh You, Teddy Boy, Maybe I'm Amazed, of course. Yeah, I find myself playing this more often than not. Which might surprise most people, but I really do enjoy that album. For some reason, it seems that I prefer the McCartney that's more stripped back than the more produced pop Paul. That's just a personal thing, but yeah. Okay, up next we get Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. This was a really great 2005 effort, more recent release. Has some really good songs on here. In fact, I really enjoy the entire album all the way through. The only problem with this album, and I think most people would agree with me on here, is it's just a little too quiet. Need some rockers on here to kind of bring it up. This is a very almost adult album. You kind of got to be a grown adult to really appreciate this. I'm not trying to say his other stuff is childish. I'm just saying that this is, you know, it's more, I don't know how to really explain it, but it's a good album. I love songs Friends to Go, English Tea, Too Much Rain, Jenny Wren, Promise to You Girl, This Never Happened Before. It's a good album. It's just, you kind of feel a little tired after a little bit, you know, might enjoy a good nap. But I just think this album could have been a lot more if he would have included some more rockin' songs, like Slidin' on the new album. Okay. Up next is Paul's latest effort, Egypt Station, which is, I really enjoyed. I know a lot of people enjoyed it. I love this because it has so much different material on here. It works as an entire album with the opening station, closing station type thing. You know, there's some really great songs on here. I really enjoy I Don't Know. I'm not too big a fan of Come On To Me, but I like the horns. Come On To Me is one of the songs I actually liked at first. And then over time I kind of was like, I'm not too big a fan of it. Sometimes you outgrow songs, sometimes they grow more in the song. Come On To Me is unfortunately one I kind of outgrew. Happy With You is wonderful. I love it. Who Cares? Great anti-bully song. Not a fan of Fuh You. Don't care about the lyrics. I think it's classic Paul. It's the same guy that, you know, did Why Don't We Do It in the Road. But I'm just not a fan of that new pop production. It's just not my jam, just not my thing. Confidant's great. Of course, I love the acoustic stuff. People Want Peace is great. Love it. Hand in Hand is great. I really love this album a lot. Dominoes I enjoy. Back in Brazil, cool little Brazilian thing going on. Do It Now is a beautiful, really Beatlesque, I think. Caesar Rock, great rocker. Despite Repeated Warnings, great way to end the album on an epic ballad. Cool little, and it doesn't even end there, you know, you get this cool little Hunt You Down, Naked, Ceiling. It's a good album. It's a really good album. People might say the weakest thing about this album though is his voice. His voice isn't quite as good as it was when he made, for example, Memory Almost Full, which I decided to put ahead of it. I really couldn't decide. I really enjoy these albums just about equally, but Memory Almost Full I enjoyed a little bit more. And for those that don't know, Memory Almost Full is actually an anagram for My Soulmate, LLM, Linda Louise McCartney. And the song You Tell Me is actually about Linda. So that's really beautiful. I believe Paul plays all the instruments on You Tell Me. Dance Tonight is great. Ever Present Past, pop, but I really enjoy it. See Your Sunshine, love it. Only Mama Knows, great rocker. You Tell Me, beautiful acoustic tribute to Linda that harkens back to those early McCartney Wings stuff. Mr. Bellamy, cool song. Gratitude. You know, it gets a little repetitive, but it's alright. Vintage Clothes is I really enjoy this entire album. So yeah, this is why I rank this so high. I get a lot of joy out of Memory Almost Full. Okay, moving right along. Trying to not make this video too long. Tug of War. Tug of War is one of Paul's best efforts, I think. It's a very strong solo album. I guess since Paul knew he was going solo, he wasn't with Wings, he really wanted to put a lot into it. Besides just the McCartney stay-at-home stuff. Starts out strong, ends strong. This is just a really good all-around great album. Probably one of the only reasons it's not number one is, well, number one because I personally enjoy some other stuff, but there's a little bit 80s, and I'm not just a big fan of the 80s sound. So, but come on, it's a great album. Okay, up next, Flaming Pie. Very good solo album. Very great studio album. You get Song We Were Singing, World Tonight, If You Wanna, Some Days, great acoustic song, Young Boy, very Beatless, Calico Skies, wow, Flaming Pie, you know, starts jamming on that for a little bit. The very soothing Heaven on a Sunday, Used to Be Bad, honestly, the only songs I'm not a big fan of on here, Really Love You, not crazy about the jam. Paul can do with that, and I think that's really cool that someone can just be jamming and he can just make up lyrics enough that kind of make sense and work. But I don't think it's his best thing, and this man is extremely talented. You know, he plays all these multiple instruments. He can write like crazy. He's written so many of his own songs. You know, it takes new artists today, most mainstream artists, they have like 5 or 6 songwriters each song. Paul writes all of his songs for the most part himself, except for the albums like New, but pretty much every album he's written all the songs himself. That's another reason why I didn't like New, by the way, because the producers wanted to co-write with him. You don't need to co-write with Paul, he writes good enough. Anyways, yeah, I really enjoy that. Used to Be Bad is not a big favorite, but it's okay. If You Wanna is probably not one of my most favorites, but still, I mean, golly, it's 14 tracks. Great album. Okay, and last but not least, my favorite album of Paul's solo career, Off the Ground. That might be surprising to most, but I just absolutely adore this album. Starts out with the most great optimistic Off the Ground, looking for changes, you know, his anti-animal abuse song, Hope of Deliverance, Peace in the Neighborhood, actually, sorry, I went to the wrong, Mistress and Maid, that actually is him and Elvis Costello, I Owe It All to You, beautiful, Biker Like an Icon, very different, Peace in the Neighborhood, Golden Earth Girl, Lovers That Never Were, Get Out of My Way, great rocker, Wine Dark Open Sea, absolutely phenomenal. And finally ends with the beautiful ballad of Come On People. And Remember to Be Cosmically Conscious is a little bit of an extra song you get. But yeah, this is just a great album. Let's take a look at it a little bit. I can't wait for the reissue. So good. Alright, well that's it. That's all of Paul's albums ranked. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know, if you don't want to make a video, that's fine, but let me know how you would rank Paul's solo albums in the comments below, and hope everyone has a great day.